So one thing I've noticed over time is my Armada has a lot of plastic that's starting to become very brittle with time. Um, my whole top console unit fell off basically. As you can see, it broke off the front. The mounting points here gave way as well, and then there's a couple of anchors on the very back that also broke off. So basically, I think over time the weight of this thing just started to beat on the plastic, and then the plastic gave way. So what I'm going to try to do is, I don't want to buy a new one obviously, but I want to fix it. So you can see where the two end pieces in the back snapped. We've got two screws that were basically holding on the center section. They pulled through the plastic. Obviously the plastic is somewhat brittle, and the other issue here is that it's a fairly small surface area where the bolts are, so it's a lot of force per unit area on the anchors here. And then this front piece just pretty much snapped. So anyways, I'm going to try and come up with a solution that works without having to replace this whole thing, because obviously I don't want to spend the money on it. So one idea I have is for these back pieces that broke is to still use these posts, but maybe put a screw down the middle on each of them. And I'd have to drill an access hole on this side, unfortunately. Maybe I can cap them or tape them with something that matches, but I need a way to anchor these back to the roof. So I'm gonna probably try to put screws down the top of these things, maybe with a block of wood or something in between that helps stabilize it. So my thought here is that I would drill a hole through what's left of these posts, and then I would also have one through the bottom. And the reason for that is I want to put a screw in and hopefully get it in here where I can access the head through the bottom with a screwdriver, and then this screw will actually go up into the top back here. So we'll see how that works out. So this is what the holes look like once I've put them in the top panel. I came up with another idea. Because this piece here is so thin, I was a little bit worried about putting a bolt head into it and having it pull through. So I actually ground down a washer here and created a piece that I could actually install and put it in the back here. This is what it looks like in front, but basically it will spread the force along the whole surface. There's not much force on this because it literally is just to hold this top panel up. So you got to be really careful not to over tighten these things. But anyways, it's kind of a quick and easy way to help spread the force around. So this is what it looks like once the screws are in place with the modified washer. As you can see, the head is now spreading force across that whole surface, which should help a bit. Same thing with the top side here. So this is what the back end of the top console looks like with the washers installed. You can see I put them on the back side there to help distribute the force. Same thing on this side with the access hole in the bottom, so I can use an Allen wrench to screw these in to the ceiling. So for the center plate here, I had to figure out a way to basically, these original screws pulled through these holes, so I had to somehow redistribute the force. It was kind of interesting. What I came up with is using a piece of this metal that basically you could buy at the hardware store, and I had to kind of grind some holes or drill some holes to make this actually usable. But the idea here is that I could use the original screws, put them in, and basically bolt this thing back up. I'll show you in a minute how I did that, but it spreads again the force of these two screws across the whole interface of this top console. So it really helps prevent the thing from breaking again. So we'll see how that works. So this is what the final installation looks like. You can see the two small holes in the back. Probably could have cleaned that up a bit. This one's a little more interesting. I took a piece of metal, used the existing screws, but basically put a plate over the area where the two screws pulled through the top console. So now at least the whole console is held in place by this larger bracket, which distributes the force a lot more evenly. Hopefully this holds up, we'll see. So what I ended up doing here is basically hot gluing the cracked area just to bridge the interface so it's not drooping down anymore. Doesn't look the greatest, but you know, hey, what the heck, at least it's not hanging down, and it seems to be fairly strong now. Everything's in place, and I think everything functions for the most part. So we'll see how it goes.